Hello friends, welcome to Granth. Today we'll solve LeetCode problem of house robber. This is an easy problem and this problem is basically based on dynamic programming and we'll see how we can approach this problem. So the problem says that you are a professional robber planning to rob houses along a street. Each house has a certain amount of money stashed and the only constraint stopping you from robbing each of them is that adjacent house have security system connected and it will automatically contact the police if two adjacent houses were broken into the same night. So given a list of non-negative integer representing amount of money of each house, determine the maximum amount of money you can rob tonight without alerting the police. So in this particular case, the answer was 4 because you can rob the first house and the third house. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So that is how it is. So intuitively it will look like we can get the sum of all the even places and all the odd places and we'll get the answer, but that might not be the right thing. The reason being, if we have a case something like this where we have 2 1 1 and 2, so in this case if we rob the odd house and even house, our answer will come as 3, and for even house it will be again 3, but in this case the actual answer will be 4 because you can rob the first house, leave the next two and rob the last house, so that way your answer is 4. So how do we approach this particular problem? So you can start thinking in terms of dynamic programming where you break down the solution into smaller sub problems, sorry, not the solution, the problem into smaller sub problem, and then you try to solve that particular problem and then extrapolate it to the larger problem. So in this case, suppose if I'm, or let us take a bigger example, maybe something like this. So in this particular case, suppose if I am at this position, I call it the ith position. So if I'm at the ith position, I have two options, and those two options are either I will rob this house or I will not rob this house. So if I rob this house, then the maximum amount of money that I will be stealing will be equal to 9 plus whatever is the maximum amount of money that I stole at this particular point. So I have to leave the previous index. So it will be index of 9 minus 2. So it will be maximum of this. If I am robbing this house, so I will be able to get this much money. Now if I don't rob this house, then whatever was the value here, so value at index of 9 minus 1, so whatever is the value of whatever is the maximum value that I got here, that will be the amount of the money that I will be robbing, and finally the maximum amount of money that I can rob will be max of these two cases. So let me explain it one more time. If I am at the ith place, so I have two options here. Either I rob this house, so if I rob this house, then the amount of money that I will rob will be whatever is the value here, which is 9, plus whatever is the value or the maximum amount of money that I can rob at index of 9 minus 2. So this is the maximum amount of money that this is the amount of money that I will have if I take the option of robbing this house. If I don't rob this house, then the maximum amount of money that I can rob will be whatever is the value at index of 9 minus 1. So till this place, whatever is the value of money that I have robbed till this house, because I'm not robbing this particular house. So, and finally, if at the ith position, the max that I can do will be max of rob versus don't rob. Okay, so if we put it into a formula, then we can clearly say from here is that for any position num of I, the best I can do is math dot max of num of I minus 1 and num of I plus whatever is nums of I minus 2. So this is the formula that we are going to apply, and let's try to solve this problem. Now initially we have to consider some edge cases, like since we are applying here I minus 2, so we have to consider what will be the value of the first two places. So if nums dot length is equals to 0, so in this case we will return 0. If nums dot length is equals to 1, so in this case we can simply say return what is the value of the 0th element. And if nums dot length is equals to 2, so in this particular case our nums of 1 nums of 1 will be equal to math dot max of nums of 0 or nums of 1. So we will basically, if I have been given just two places like this, so maximum I can do is by robbing one of these two houses. So that is why for nums of 1 I will say that the value will be whatever is the maximum of these two, and I can now return from here nums of 1. Okay, so if it is more than two houses, then I need to just get this condition here for the nums 1, and we can do a loop from int I is equals to 2 and I is less than whatever is the nums dot length that we have, and it will be I plus plus, and we can just use this formula. So we can say nums of I will be equal to math dot max of nums of I minus 1 and whatever is the value here, and finally we will say simply return nums of I minus 1, sorry not I minus 1, nums dot length minus 1. So let us try to run this. So it is accepted. We'll try to run our case that we were seeing. So it's 2 1 1 and 2, so it should return 4. Looks good. So we'll submit this solution, and it looks good. So this is how we will solve the house robber problem, and this is how we'll apply dynamic programming in any dynamic programming question that we have. And what we just need to think about is how we will break the problem into smaller sub problems, and then solve the smaller problem and extrapolate it to the bigger problem. That is what we did here. We broke down the complete list into a position where we can find the condition of the ith position. In the ith position, what are the options that I have, and based on those options we can come up with some formula which will give me the answer. So that is how I solved this problem. Do let me know how you solved this problem in the comment section. Do like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel to get further updates. Thanks for watching.